All right, everyone, we do have a partial gag order now issued on Donald Trump by Judge Engoron in the case of the Letitia James witch trial. So you got four now. You've got the Alvin Bragg witch trial, which is artificially inflated misdemeanors turned felonies for business fraud that's ages old and nobody really cares about, which is why I don't fucking talk about it anymore. You've got the Mar-a-Lago documents case with Jack Smith, of course, a little bit more meaningful than Alvin Bragg's case, although again, president can declassify what they want, and so it's not clear that any of those charges will stick. Then you had Fulton County. Now, in Fulton County, you have an obvious partisan axe to grind. You've got an artificial RICO case involving a bunch of other people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the judge in that case has been optioned to cast a gag order as well. Now you've got the first successful gag order on Trump. And as I predicted a couple of days ago, it probably backfires because you're trying to prevent him effectively if you read the gag order, link in the description, archived of course. Effectively, it boils down to you're not allowed to insult a member of the court. So you're not allowed to take to social media and express any distaste whatsoever for anyone that works for my court. Otherwise, you're going to have a legal problem. That plays right into Trump's hands as I analyzed to begin with. Not because it necessarily goes outside of the norm. There are cases, you have a defendant and they're being antagonistic. They're being antagonistic online. And they're, talking about the court clerk and the prosecutor and the judge and all sorts of things like that. And then the judge finally brings them in and says, okay, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of dealing with this. I'm not going to have you breaching the decorum of my wonderful and unbiased court, which wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It always totally is. The problem is that Donald Trump is running for the presidency. He's not a normal defendant, and people need to get that in their minds. This is not some random redneck who got hauled in on several DUI charges, decided to talk shit about the court on Facebook, and so the judge decided to put them in their place. This is a multi-billionaire front runner for the primaries in the GOP, presumptive nominee, presumptive next president of the United States, and a former president at the same time. He's not in the same category legally as the average Joe. There is more of a likelihood that a judge or a prosecutor or whatever will gun for him because of his standing, especially for political or social reasons. That's number one. And number two, he has his own social media site. He's got greater latitude to be able to crucify other people. Issuing a gag order is something that they did begrudgingly. I guarantee they did not want to do this. Apparently, Trump basically got in trouble for going on Truth Social and talking about one of the court clerks being dishonest or something, or biased or something. Of course they are. I mean, they clearly are. The judge in the case here is biased. The judges in the other cases, they have their own bias in one way or the other. Judges, believe it or not, are human beings. They have political beliefs. The concept that they don't is pile of bullshit. It's the false decorum of the judicial system in all of its solemnity. That's not really a thing. They try to suppress it, but they don't always manage to do so. Just look at Supreme Court decisions that are 5-4 for a fucking example. Then you have the bias of prosecutors and so forth. They wouldn't be prosecuting at all if they didn't think Trump was guilty. And Trump has aired his grievances, and they've been strenuously holding off trying to impose a gag order, however limited it might be. Now they have done so. We'll see how that works out for them. Even odds says that it backfires in a spectacular fashion, because what is effectively a very limited gag order? It involves, please don't insult my clerks, basically. That's the sum and substance. Becomes they're trying to silence Donald. And that's exactly what he wants. He may not be able to put that message out directly. Other people will do it for him. That's why they dragged their heels on that. That's why the Fulton County judge is like, I don't know. I keep getting calls from the DNC fucking begging me not to issue a gag order on Donald Trump. By the way, the judge in this case, Engoron, that sounds like a goddamn Star Wars character. What the fuck? This case is even more tenuous than the Fulton case with the RICO charges. This one has to do with, in some cases, statute of limitations limited material, and it involved supposedly with fraud towards banks that would have checked the numbers on their own anyway without anyone even complaining. Pro tip, in this case, for all intents and purposes, there's not even a plaintiff other than Letitia James saying, well, he's basically liable for fraud. There's no actual complainant involved, But we're going to bring the case forth anyway because we think that Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million because of a couple of easements on the property, the limited development. Yeah. The problem is you can probably make $18 million in a single year just fucking renting the bedrooms out. But, when you're in New York City, I guess things hit differently as far as the rental goes. That's about all. Peace out.